Welcome, professional wrestling fans, to the PW Fan. The PW Fan is a pro wrestling podcast created by fans for the fans, and we appreciate you joining us every week. This is episode 83. I am your host, the grumpy old school wrestling fan, collector, barber, and musician, Talk Wrestling, Tim Gilbert.
And I'm your host, the architect of pro wrestling podcast, Funko Pop collector, Booker Andy.
I'm also your host, the No Selling Wrestling Indie fan and football lover, Jeremy.
All right. Well, we got a good show for you today. In episode 83, we're going to be talking about the World Heavyweight Championship Tournament, Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley, the Bloodline, and more. As always, we ask you to go to youtube.com, find our page, and hit us with a subscribe. We got merch on prowrestlingtees.com/the PW Fan, 5 different shirt designs, and for all other social media, you can find us by clicking at the PW Fan, and where we kindly asked for you to follow us and subscribe and do all those fun things that really help a small show like us out. Now, before we get into this week's episode, I do need to say something. You know, guys, we do have a lot of fun on this show. And, last week we talked about a certain wrestler. And, I just want to take this time, we might have gone a little far. So I just want to take this time to apologize to absolutely nobody, James Ellsworth, you son of a bitch. You're a jobbing son of a bitch. And I'm just going to call you out to the end of time. All right. Moving on from that.
Dude, you swerved to me.
That's it, Andy. I'm going to pass it over to you. Ellsworth, meet me in the back alley of Wawa. We're going to wrestle naked for 3 hours. First to 10 pinfalls.
3 hours.
Yeah, first to 10 pinfalls wins.
Well, Tim, what are we going to be talking about this week?
Well, Andy, I did already tell you that, but just because you weren't listening, I'll tell you one more time. If you didn't hear me the first time, we're going to be talking about the World Heavyweight Championship Tournament, Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley, the Bloodline, and more. 2 times today, I'm giving you the top of the show.
Sorry, Raw's on. My bad. Gotta stop watching. All right, let's get into it. Before we get into Raw, is there any news you guys heard this week that
I saw Punk
have written down?
I saw Punk on the treadmill saying, "What would some hockey player? What would so and so do?" And it was like a guy beat up and bloody on his shirt, and then it was Samoa Joe's ROH theme music that he was working out to. A couple Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Matt Hardy's Twitter got hacked, which was...
No, that was so funny.
There were some messed up ones. There were some funny ones.
Yeah.
Mostly funny.
Rough,
there were some pretty dark ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's get into Raw.
But
Raw
I'll
this
say
past
real
week.
quick. Sorry, Andy. I'll just say real quick that for Punk, I think the point of him listening to Samoa Joe's thing is because he said no to Jericho, which I think we're all happy about. And then he's going to go and feud with Samoa Joe, which he hasn't feuded with since, 2005? 6?
Yeah.
So what, are they just going to keep him away from Dynamite and put him on ROH?
The new show, Collision, which is
that
like,
what Tony's announcement's going to be?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay.
He's not going to blink for
Is it
another
going to be different
minute.
rosters?
Yeah.
You think it'll be different? Okay.
That's why. Except it's like.
Is it an AEW show or a Ring of Honor show?
AEW.
Oh. Is anybody asking for a third AEW
like
show?
2-hour
Good
one.
Lord.
It's probably going to be a 2-hour one. Maybe
Yeah,
get
well,
rid of
it's going to be a Saturday night 2-hour one apparently, but
Saturday.
Horrible time slot.
Yeah.
That might be just as bad as Rampage. Look,
yeah,
I'm a homebody and a nerd. I don't want to go anywhere, and I don't like people outside of the barbershop. So I don't want to do anything on a Friday, Saturday night. However, I would say most people, especially young people, are busy on those nights. Seems like a bad night to put your wrestling show when you got your 18 to 34 demographic where your 18 through 25-year-olds are most likely at the bar both nights in a row, not watching wrestling.
I don't know, man. They're nerds. They might be at home too.
Well, I guess your 18-year-olds wouldn't be at the bar. But your 21-year-olds and above.
Well, your 18 or 19 or 20-year-olds wouldn't be at the bar.
Well, if you're in Europe, you could drink as soon as your head hits the bar.
And if you're over 30 and you're still at the bar, check your life.
When I was in my homeland, when I grew up in my homeland of Ireland, when I first left the Shire, as soon as your head hit the bar stool, you were allowed to take a pint.
Raw opened up this week with Cody Rhodes. He talks a little bit about his win over Brock, and he wasted a little time recalling the time he spent in Jacksonville through the pandemic during his time with AEW. Little pullback of the curtain kind of thing.
What a weird thing to bring up.
But I think they were were they in Jacksonville?
They're in Jacksonville,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, but Cody seems to do that. So he shows on the Titantron the World Heavyweight Tournament bracket, which is starting on Raw. They'll have both Raw matches during the night, and then on SmackDown they'll have both SmackDown matches. And by the end of SmackDown, we'll know exactly who's going to be competing for the World Heavyweight Championship at Night of Champions. So speaking of, after Cody, we start with the first tournament match. It's all the first tournament round one tournament matches are all triple threats. So we have Seth Rollins versus Damian Priest versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
It's crazy. It's like all the matches of the tournament are one of my least favorite type of matches. I'm like, God. 6-man tag.
They were all really good though, man.
Triple threat matches. Ugh.
You don't like those?
6-man tag. I hate 6-man tag.
I hate 6-man tags.
Even 6-man tag when it's like the AEW 6-man tag?
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially the AEW.
Especially those. I like a
because that's when rules go out the window.
Yeah.
I like and Andy knows that I like these. I like a classic Survivor Series elimination type match. I'm always a fan of those.
Yeah. Those are fun.
Yeah.
I do I always like the ones that are a little bit more like
crazy.
The AEW ones, like especially the House of Black ones. Their matches are fun for me.
Yeah, I can see that.
Speaking of the Survivor Series, I saw a clip today from Team DX versus Team RKO. Man, Team DX was stacked.
Yeah, Jeff Hardy, CM Punk, and
Matt Hardy and Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Yeah.
Was that the Survivor Series where everyone was chanting CM Punk?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah, and they are looking at him.
That was the one that
like him?
Yeah. Yeah. Punk referenced that in this promo against Triple H that one time.
Yeah, we got off topic. Anyway. So that triple threat match, Seth Rollins versus Damian Priest versus Shinsuke Nakamura. For some reason, Shinsuke, who just returned, took the pin. I don't know why Damian Priest, who lost the Bad Bunny, couldn't have taken the pin. But the winner was Seth Rollins, and it was a good first match of the night. So Seth Rollins will face the winner of our next tournament match in the main event of Raw. And the next tournament match was The Miz versus Cody Rhodes versus Finn Balor. Well, Cody thought that Brock Lesnar was finished, that he was done with that, and turns out he was wrong. Because during the match, Brock interferes and pulls Cody out of the ring and destroys Cody. If you remember, in triple threat matches, no DQ is in effect.
Which everyone forgets about.
Yeah, I did too, until Corey Graves on the announce it. And I think that's good. It's part of his job. Saying that remind us. So yeah, Brock, and it was a weird promo. He grabbed the mic in the middle of the match, or like afterwards, after beating him up, and was saying like look at my face.
Yeah,
or something like that. And he was saying it over and over him, like look at my face, and basically just kept repeating it. It reminded me of Batista saying like, give me what I want. But he wants to fight Cody Rhodes, so
Tim's just dying over here.
Basically, he sent out a challenge to fight him at Night of Champions. But the winner of that triple threat ended up being Finn Balor. So our main event of Raw will be Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. Winner goes on to the finals at Night of Champions. So that's set for the main event. Zoe Stark from NXT debuted against Nikki Cross. You all probably don't know who she is. She actually was in the Rumble this year.
I feel like I know the
Tim
name.
Says who?
Who? That was Jeremy.
I said who?
I know, but Tim's thinking it as he always does. But she was in the Rumble this year. She lasted a good while. She's actually a really good wrestler, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with her. We had a Trish Stratus segment where she comes out and part of her promo is she basically redid a promo that she did when back in the day, early 2000s. So this time the promo went, I don't care if you're Becky freaking Lynch, no one will steal my spotlight. Back in the day, she said, I don't care if you're Britney freaking Spears, no one will steal my spotlight. There was another line that was also basically duplicated as well. But Becky's music hits, and Trish looks like she's scared, but it turns out that Trish was just trolling everyone. And towards the end of the segment, Becky's music hits again, and she said, no, it was just that one time, and Becky ends up being behind Trish and knocks Trish down. So I don't know if they've announced it yet, but I'm pretty sure we're getting Becky versus Trish Stratus at Night of Champions.
I think so.
I know there's a Becky Lynch segment tonight as we're recording this.
That's a match I'd like to see.
Which I'm sure will happen then.
Good fantasy.
Well, me and Jeremy were saying they shouldn't do this. I think it's going to happen, though.
It's definitely going to happen.
Trish took out Lita and is now fighting Becky. Are we going to have Trish versus Lita one-on-one at SummerSlam?
I don't think that's a good idea.
I know.
I feel like at this point, you have to do the old and the current. You can't do too old because I feel like the modern day roster at this point is too far along. Like you can't just throw two random legends on the show like you could 6 years ago, because I think that the current roster's come a long enough way where you just can't do that. It'd be so weird.
Yeah, I mean, the only people you could do would be like when Cena and Edge were on the same card but not against each other. You could have done Cena and Edge at SummerSlam.
Randy and Edge, but that was like one of the last ones.
Yeah.
And you got to think those are.
I would have liked to see Cena and Edge one more time.
Guys. Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, none of these guys are young anymore. I mean, I know we're talking about Lita, who's a woman and a guy.
Yeah. Well, the majority of people wrestling that tournament for the championship were like in their 40s, weren't they?
Mm-hmm. It was all like vets, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, except for Austin Theory.
Yeah.
How old's Rollins now? Is he almost 40?
He's got to be late 30s.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Speaking of Randy, I read that his doctors have advised against coming back to wrestling. Rollins is 36.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe so that means when he was Tyler Black, dude, he was so young. It's crazy.
Balor's 41.
Yeah, that's also wild.
That's crazy.
So speaking of Balor, that brings us to our main event, though, which is Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. It was cool to see this kind of come full circle. If you remember, they were in the finals together against each other at SummerSlam when Balor won the first ever Universal Championship. But this time, Seth won. This was a good match, though. Seth would end up winning, as I think many feel like he should. So he is moving on to the finals, and we will figure out who he will be wrestling there once we get to SmackDown. Is there anything you guys want to add from Brawl before we get into Dynamite?
Nope.
No, I think for
Alright.
this show, I think the right person, uh, quote unquote, moves on. So we'll get into what happens later, but no, I think that's the right choice.
So
Rollins is so over right now. It's like he had to win. He's
I
starting
like
to
his
get that.
character better when he was. Go
No,
on.
I just want to like. So when he was the architect, he had the big heel run. Then he came back and he had like a really good run after he was injured. And then when he lost to the Fiend,
His championship run was not good.
it felt like he lost a lot of steam, but that dude,
He was too babyface.
It took a few years, but now it's like all the way back to being like he's super over and like white hot again. It's cool.
Well, he's not like super babyface. I mean, technically he's a face, but he's not like pandering to the crowd like he was like
he literally
before.
He literally reinvented. I mean, I remember at first with the laugh and like some of the outfits, I was like, "What the fuck is this?" But I mean, he literally reinvented his character. Now I'm used to it.
Before this one, during the pandemic, he was like the Messiah, and that Messiah character turned into the character we now see.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Like
Messiah was rough when he was taking eyes. He was taking Aleister Black's eye and Rey Mysterio's eye.
That was awful.
Yeah. On both shows, people were
losing rough.
eyes.
No, there was a moment in time when it was like that same month when he did that to Rey Mysterio, and then was it Jon Moxley did it in AEW, and I was like, enough with the eyes, guys.
Oh yeah,
it was just bad.
Yeah, he was wearing an eye patch for a little bit, wasn't he?
Yeah,
or something. Yeah. Oh god. Anyway, all right. So Dynamite opened up with Claudio Castagnoli versus Rey Fenix. The winner of this match would get a shot at the other's title. Good match to start the show. Winner was Claudio, which means that he has to pick a partner to go for Rey Fenix's and why am I blanking on his name? Penta's ROH tag team titles.
Rey Fenix.
Rey Fenix and Penta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Lucha Bros?
Lucha Bros?
Yeah, but what's his...
What?
Yeah, but what's his brother's name? I forget.
It's Penta and then Rey Fenix.
There was always like a two-part to his name.
What, Penta?
Yeah. It wasn't just Penta. It was always like...
It's Penta L something. I don't know.
No, whatever. He has a pick a partner anyway to go against the Lucha Bros for the ROH tag team titles. We get quick clip backstage, and it looks like Miro has returned.
Yeah.
The crowd popped when they saw him.
Well, that's because he's been gone for like a fucking year. What has he been doing?
Yeah.
He's been saying no to storylines, apparently.
Oh, well, okay.
I don't blame him, to be honest with you.
I'd like to know what some of those storylines were.
Yeah.
So we get throughout the night. We're getting video packages of.
But also, Miro walked into Tony Khan's office then.
Yeah. Yes, he did.
Sorry.
Wait, look at Tony Khan's crazy schedule, probably.
Wait, in real life he did, or in the show?
In the show, like
backstage.
Okay.
He walks he's in the hallway.
I thought you guys were talking about something to do with behind the scenes, like he didn't like the creative or something. Okay, I was confused. Keep going.
It probably did happen too.
So like I said, throughout the night though, there's videos of each of the pillars that we're gonna see. First one is an MJF video package. And then that brings us to FTR. FTR is in the ring. Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal come out. Mark Briscoe comes out. Mark says he's going to be the special guest referee at Double or Nothing for these two teams for the AEW Tag Team Championships. A fight breaks out, though, and Dax is blinded by, what was it, coffee or something?
I think so, yeah.
What? Either way, not something. So great, but Jeff Jarrett throws Mark Briscoe into Dax, who is blinded and doesn't know who is in front of him, and pile drives Mark Briscoe. So everyone's chanting, "You fucked up." I couldn't tell if that was for Dax though or Jeff Jarrett, but I think it was for Jeff.
Yeah,
because Jeff's the one that threw him. We get a match set for next week: Roderick Strong versus Chris Jericho. There is another return that happened this week, and that is Thunder Rosa. She again was just like Miro outside of Tony's office, I believe.
yeah. All these people returning who no one likes, so they're all going to go on one show.
Yeah, maybe they're all going to the new show.
Yeah, I think so. That's how AEW does their brand split. They don't just draft people. They don't like each other, so they go separate ways.
So basically, they're gonna have a show full of people we don't like.
Well, the roster doesn't like.
Punk.
Oh yeah.
And Punk will be on that show too.
Next, we get another video package of Sammy Guevara. Tony Khan has an announcement for next week. I wrote down new television show, and based off what we've talked about so far, it's probably that.
Also, when Tony Khan does these, he doesn't blink for the entire 5-minute promo he does.
Oh, I know.
It's just staring straight into your soul.
I don't want to bash Tony Khan more than we have already.
Well,
Okay, so this next segment, dude, Christian Cage, man. Christian Cage.
Hang on. Because we didn't talk about this. Did you hear that? I will get the name of the guy. But Tony Khan hired an assistant finally.
Something in Washington, wasn't it?
Yeah, he said he needed help,
George?
No, not George.
George Washington.
Yeah, Tony Khan.
Yeah, he has a right-hand man now.
Yeah, to help with creative.
So he has a Bruce Pritchard.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think they said it was him, the new guy, and then was it QT Marshall and Sanjay
Dutt.
Yeah.
Those are like his.
We're all forgetting full names today.
Let me see.
You pulling up, Tim?
I'm trying to. I'm not as good as Jamie from Joe Rogan's podcast.
Andy could probably find it.
Tim's already started, so.
Well, I'll continue.
Just fill in this silence, guys.
No.
Pressure's on, Tim.
I'll let Andy find it, and I'll continue on. But the guy is a wrestling journalist who apparently Tony agreed with a lot of his ideas and has been a fan of his basically for a while, and decided to.
Will Washington, God.
There you go. Took Andy 30 seconds.
Tony Khan announces the hiring of Will Washington as AEW's new wrestling administration coordinator.
Well, is that whole grumpy old wrestling fan isn't a gimmick. I'm older than both of you. I suck with technology. Andy is making the old man fucking.
He's 2.5 years older than me. Excuses.
2.5.
Okay, so this Christian Cage and Luchasaurus segment, guys. Christian went hard. He says that the TNT Championship #1 contender is him because he is Christian Cage. And with a career like his, he can basically just do what he wants. Tim, were you able to see this segment? Because if not, I'm about to tell you some of the stuff that he said.
No, I don't think I did. But no.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get into it. I wrote down 2 quotes here. The first one, he's talking about Wardlow, who, if you remember, Wardlow, I guess, somewhat recently lost his dad, and that's why the whole that whole thing. So, Christian Cage says, "It's a good thing you found Arn Anderson. You found that father figure you were looking for, and luckily for you, it just so happens that Arn was looking for a new son himself." Now, they kind of swerved it a little bit after this because he mentions how something with Brock and Brock isn't with him anymore, so they basically made it seem like that's who he was talking about. But yeah.
Was
and then after that, he said,
"I didn't see that." Was the crowd like, "Holy shit"?
Yeah,
the crowd was going crazy the entire time, booing him.
Yeah, he gets booed kind of like Dominic, but not to that full extent. Because they weren't really letting him talk. But he mentions the word legend, and he talks about how it's thrown around a lot. He said, if you're the other guy in a tag team with Tully Blanchard, I guess that makes you a legend, right? Or you're Ric Flair's lapdog for years and years. I guess that makes you a legend, right? It wasn't long after this that the entire crowd of Detroit starts chanting, Edge is better. Which towards the end of the interview with Tony Schiavone, Tony's holding onto the mic, and I don't think this was supposed to happen, but Christian kind of like yanks it from Tony and says, like, Detroit, kiss my ass. And this is all during the Edge is better chance, and then he walks out the ring. It took me a little bit to realize what they were chanting. I had to read some guys' lips, basically, but yeah. He wasn't a fan of them chanting.
That was a great segment, though.
Yeah, it was good. So I thought Luchasaurus was going to be the one going for the TNT Championship, but no, Christian Cage is.
It's Christian, yeah.
Oh, I just realized. Oh, man, Jordan Devlin better. I see Jordan Devlin, but JD McDonough better win this match that's on TV right now.
I mean,
this is debut for the Intercontinental.
Not to glance over, I just want to say, like, I think Edge's matches have been obviously more high profile and cool. I guess, for lack of vocabulary.
Christian's a great wrestler.
He's a great wrestler, but his mic work has been better than Edge's, I think, since he came back.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Well, Christian's heel mic work is great.
Yeah, his heel mic work. Yeah.
Everyone, I feel like, is better on the mic as a heel because there's no boundaries.
Yeah, it's easier.
Well, you don't have to go out and be like, I love you guys. Thank you. Everything's so great and dandy, and I'm going to go out there and win it just for y'all, just so I can prove that I'm the best. And
that's where Dana Brooke's going wrong. She needs to go straight up heel.
Oh, my God.
That poor girl, man. She's always like, woo. I don't know how she's still with the company. I feel so bad.
I know. Because
she came out this week and got wrecked by Rhea.
Yeah, that was rough.
All right, moving on, we have a Darby Allin video package, and that brings us to the open house match. So the Best Friends and Bandito versus House of Black. Open house match rules. These are the rules. 20 count is in effect. Tim's going to not like any of this. These are rules of a house open house match. 20 count. Any three competitors can form a trio. That's fine. No rope breaks. No rope breaks, but disqualifications are enforced.
Yeah, I didn't get that part.
And then dealer's choice.
Yeah, that was confusing.
So the Best Friends and Bandito.
Dude, I hate
basically dealer's choice is you get to
everything that you just said.
Dealer's choice is you get to make a rule, and since the Julia Hart thing, the Best Friends think that she's a witch. So Chuck from Best Friends is like, no witches. So the rule is no witches at rings. And during this match, the lights are dimmed. I saw while this match was going on, all the lights are like dimmed in the arena.
That part wasn't bad.
According to the commentary, it's a House of Black request. It basically just kind of blacks out the audience, and it's like a big spotlight. That's not bad. Yeah. It's just like, I guess that's the theme of how, the House Rules match or whatever.
Yeah.
Winners were House of Black, and afterwards, Kyle Fletcher from Aussie Open lays out Orange Cassidy. But yeah.
He's going for the international title.
20 count, no rope breaks, and disqualifications are enforced.
And then the dealer's choice thing, I still don't understand. Like,
no. That was a bad way to introduce it with the no witches thing.
Yeah, like, what is the point of, like, that's just like
they're like, oh, witches are scary. Yeah, definitely no witches. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
All right. We have a final 4 pillars video package of Jungle Boy, which leads us to our main event: Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley in a steel cage match.
All I think about Jungle Boy now is what Tim sent us before about him just not listening to people.
An asshole.
Oh yeah.
Well, not coming
overseas.
Someone was like, "Where you going next?" He said, "Hopefully not coming back here anytime soon."
Well, you are, man. You are, my dude.
Unless he's not on the show.
So Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley steel cage match. I thought the match was good. It was a good main event. It was a little different than some of the stuff they've had lately. And I like their steel cages because they're supposed to keep people in instead of climbing out. But
yeah,
they did go to the outside this time because Kenny Omega would go for a V-trigger and hit Jon Moxley, and they would go through the side of the cage to the floor. I think Kenny was supposed to go a little farther, but instead one leg was over the bar and one leg was on the inside of the ring, one on the out, and that had to have hurt because I know that wasn't planned.
Yeah, that looked like her.
Of course, Moxley bled during this match. What else is new?
Is there Danielson on commentary? He's like, Moxley doesn't start until he starts bleeding.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Danielson was on commentary during this. Yeah. The big takeaway from this match, though, is Don Callis gets in the ring, and I guess Moxley had a screwdriver, right? And Callis grabs a screwdriver or something like that. Kenny ends up hitting the one-winged angel, and when he goes to put Moxley in the pin, Don Callis grabs a screwdriver and hits Kenny with it. Don Callis turns on Kenny Omega. I didn't see this coming. I don't think anyone saw this coming.
Yeah.
Don't know why. But this would give Moxley the win in the end. So I'm sure next week we'll get it addressed in some way.
Moxley heel turn?
Blackpool Combat Club is heel already. Yeah, they're heels right now.
Yeah, but like the kind of heel, like imagine Don Callis being Moxley's manager, switching up on him, and Moxley.
I mean, basically replacing Regal. Yeah. He's like, we're the Winnipeg Combat Club now.
You're not seeing...
Oh my god, if they do that.
You're not seeing my vision, bro. God.
Oh my god. But that wraps up Dynamite. Is there anything you guys want to add before we get to SmackDown?
That wasn't a bad show. I thought this was one of their better ones.
No, it was one of the better ones recently. Yeah, I agree. Just wait till we get to what I have to talk about with Rampage. But
yeah, well, that's not a show, is it?
No.
Does that count?
It is. I mean, what does Rampage count as a show?
Yeah.
AEW would think so.
I'm not gonna say what I feel because people will be like eye roll and be like, "Yeah, we already know, we get it." How do you guys feel? Forget what I think. What do you guys think about every week an Orange Cassidy match opens up Dynamite?
That does.
He
happen
didn't even wrestle this week.
He didn't open the show.
He didn't. No, it was Claudio and Rey Fenix.
Yeah, which they actually started in the ring already, which is weird for Dynamite.
Was he on?
Cassidy
Rampage?
was backstage and got attacked. Was Cassidy on Rampage? Yes. Didn't he face this Kyle Fletcher guy?
Was it the opening match?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think about Cassidy always opening the show?
Look, there's fans of him. It's just not. Yeah. I'm just not a fan.
He's like.
I got to remember that sometimes. There's stuff on AEW that there's a little bit for everyone, and
he wants more.
Yeah, Tony Khan loves him. He's also like a feel-good character too. I used to, not as much anymore though.
Well, just
speaking of AEW,
just like a joke's funny the first 10 times you heard it.
Yeah.
All Access, I believe, ended this week after 6 episodes because they ended with Adam Cole's first match back, which is pretty recently. So I don't think there's anything. I can't find anything online of it, but I enjoyed it again. I do like that show. It's much better than Crossroads.
Yeah, I do like it too.
Yeah. I actually was kind of bummed that it was already like done.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was at least
maybe when Punk comes back, they'll be able to
to
ramp it up a little bit. Probably not though. Let's get into SmackDown though. Tournament match opens the show. Edge versus Rey Mysterio versus AJ Styles. Great match. Just 3 killers in there.
Which I think I texted you when you were watching it, and I was like, I forgot all these guys are in their 40s.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Ray's like 49.
Yeah.
Ray's almost 50.
Edge is still 40, right? 40-something.
Well, let's go to the phones, guys.
Well, either way, it was a great match.
This match was awesome.
Yeah.
I thought
There's an
Edge was going to
incoming call. Hang
win.
on. You said let's go to the phones, and
Oh, my God.
someone just called.
I meant me searching, but Edge is 49.
Stu.
Yeah. Okay.
Stu is here.
No, we don't need... Hi, Stu. I'd rather have Ellsworth on. Edge is 49, Raid is 48, and AJ's 45.
When Edge came through the hard dungeon, he was a young boy. So I think he's about 49 right now, actually. Just wanted to let you guys know.
Niner. He's 49er.
That's it.
So the winner of the triple threat, though, was AJ Styles. AJ Styles will go on in the main event to face the winner of our next match, which was Sheamus versus Bobby Lashley versus Austin Theory. Winner was Bobby Lashley, so it looks like we get a little TNA Impact main event.
Yeah.
Was Lashley and AJ there at the same time?
Andy said we don't
need
Stu.
We don't need Stu. We need Ellsworth.
Don't need Ellsworth.
We definitely don't need him.
So winner was Bobby Lashley. So the main event of SmackDown is going to be AJ Styles versus Bobby Lashley. Winner of that is going to Night of Champions to face Seth Rollins to crown the new World Heavyweight Champion. I can't believe the winner of what I just saw on Raw. Okay. Grayson Waller from NXT is backstage with Adam Pearce, and the winner of Styles and Lashley will be on the Grayson Waller effect next week. Looking back at my notes now, that'll be really interesting, and I'll say why later. Cameron Grimes versus Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin was completely squashed in this match in 5 seconds, literally. Cameron Grimes hit his finisher and beat Corbin.
That's because it's in Jeddah. Sorry.
That's why Baron Corbin lost. Oh,
no,
okay, yeah, now that makes sense.
So yeah, Baron Corbin. Why is he still around?
I don't know. He's been on a losing streak. Maybe he's going back to bum ass Corbin.
Could be.
But Cameron Grimes beat him 5 seconds. I love Cameron Grimes. If you guys if you don't know him, should start paying attention to him because he's going to the moon. Yeah. Anyway, I was about to do a impression of him, but
wasn't that a
country? I'm going to the moon. That was a terrible impression. All right. Bloodline segment. Let's talk about this Bloodline segment. Roman, this is the first time we've seen Roman since WrestleMania. He talks about how Solo stepped up at Backlash, and he says, Sami and KO aren't the problem. The Usos are, and he wants the Uso to apologize. Jimmy doesn't want to. He's kind of laughing about it, and Roman's basically like, am I a clown to you? He's like, am I here to make you laugh? And he shoves Jimmy's face. Clown. He shoves Jimmy's face back, and Jimmy eventually goes to get in Roman's face, but Jay stops him, and he apologizes for them and asks for one more shot. But instead, Roman has Heyman announce that at Night of Champions against Sami and Kevin, it's going to be Roman and Solo Sikoa versus Sami and Kevin for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships.
So now, Roman can win some more titles.
Roman better fucking lose. And not win these titles because the Usos interfere. If Roman walks out of there with 2 solo titles on one arm and 2 tag team on the other, I'm going to be so grumpy.
And then you know what? He's going to win the World Heavyweight Championship in the finals.
And then he's just like, just puts that one
Everything.
around. Or he just comes out.
Yeah.
That's what I'm putting my money on.
Oh my God.
Roman is champion of everything in WWE.
Like he said, this was only the intermission or whatever the fuck.
It's only the third inning. If it was a baseball game, it'd only be the third inning.
He's gonna beat Gunther also in the next
Let me
pay-per-view
tell
and
you,
win the
if this was a
Intercontinental.
baseball game, this is only the third inning, and there's fucking 9 innings of baseball. God damn. It's a long ass.
It's a long game.
It'll end with Cody beating Roman at next year's Mania in Philly.
For all the titles.
I know it's rigged.
Question.
Because I use it. I say, God damn. All right.
If you're looking at everything that's going on right now, we're only a month. If you're looking at everyone right now, we're only like a month in after Mania, or 2 months. Who do you think would win the Rumble? We're so far away.
Cody.
Again?
Who else would win it?
Well, not Seth. Not Cody.
Not AJ.
Not AJ.
What about Omos?
No, I wouldn't mind seeing. Almost.
Omos?
What about almost?
The almost. Southern weather.
Aaron Gillespie comes in.
Aaron Gillespie. No, I'm serious. I think he's getting better.
Gunther.
What's his name? Omos?
Gunther.
Omos.
Omos. My bad.
Gunther's a good choice, though.
Yeah, I think Gunther.
But
even
why would
execs are like really high on him.
he would go after the other title, though, because it'd be Cody and Roman.
Well, he's moving pretty
Yeah, it would go after World Heavyweight
Yeah.
against whoever is World Heavyweight by then. If he's not already World Heavyweight by then. I don't know. Was just curious what you guys thought already based on the roster. Anyway, continuing on after this Bloodline segment, Bianca Belair has a championship celebration. They still haven't switched the titles, which I wonder when they're going to do that. She's still holding the Raw Women's Championship. But Asuka comes out, who she beat at WrestleMania, comes out to congratulate her. She goes to shake hands, but instead Bianca gets sprayed with the blue mist. So it looks like this feud is picking back up. Even though Backlash kind of should have been the feud or the match for it's like WrestleMania Backlash and basically redo.
Rematch.
All right, our main event: AJ Styles versus Bobby Lashley. Winner was AJ Styles. So that means Night of Champions. We are getting Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles finally. This I'm really excited for. How do you guys feel about AJ versus Seth?
I mean, I can't wait for it, but Seth better win, I think.
Seth should win for sure. I'm just an AJ fucking mark, so it's. But Jeremy, before we started recording, you and me were talking about it. It's gonna open the show, and I know Cody and Brock are gonna close it, and it should close the show.
If Cody and Brock close the show, that's so stupid.
Cody and Brock should maybe open the show.
Yeah, they should open.
I'm fine with.
This is about a title, a new title.
Or now, are they going to do, because Roman's there, they're going to close it with Roman and Solo versus Sami and Kevin, and end on like the Usos like interfering and like, you know.
Yeah, Roman has like a 20-minute entrance.
I'm just doing the Undertaker, or no, he's doing the Halo theme song over there.
Yeah, I was like, that's not his theme song.
I don't know.
It all
I just miss the days where like the championship ended shows no matter who was the champion, and yeah, when there was two belts, they both were like basically back to back co-main events of the show. Triple H always closed out shows back in the day.
There's never a co-main event. There's a main event which ends the show.
Well, according to Backlash, Bad Bunny and Damian Priest was the co-main event, even though it was the third to last match. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I was saying earlier about Grayson Waller is going to have on his talk show, The Grayson Waller Effect, next week he's going to have the winner of Styles and Lashley, which ended up being Styles, is because, if you remember, when AJ went to NXT for a quick run, he feuded with Grayson Waller. So now AJ is going to be on Grayson Waller's talk show. And I'm sure they'll bring that shit up, but just little continuity. Let's get into Rampage. The only thing I want to talk about is this Hardy's segment. Okay. The Hardys want to win the AEW
Tim,
Tag Team Championship. No.
Which one? I might have.
The Rampage segment of the Hardys.
I don't know. Andy can give you a little taste of like what happened.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about this. You did say something about moaning in the group chat. I'm like, wow, glad I did not watch this.
So the Hardys want to win the AEW Tag Team Championships for the first time. Isaiah Cassidy moans. The Guns come out, and they say they're going to take care of the Hardys.
What feels good?
I'll tell you that in a second.
Okay.
The Guns come out. They say that they're going to take care of the Hardys for Ethan Page, and the Hardys agree to a match if Ethan Page's contract is on the line. The Guns agree. The Guns also say that they're next in line for the titles. And during this Guns part, Isaiah Cassidy ends up moaning 2 more times. I'm over it. He has defended this by talking about how it started. And he did it at some point in front of the Bucks, and he knew it had some, wheels to it because the Bucks were laughing. Now, if you're doing this on Being the Elite, like Jeremy told me, it makes sense to do it on there. Why are you taking it to television? It
doesn't translate at all. That's annoying.
And now you have Matt Hardy being like, "Oh yes, the moaning Isaiah Cassidy, like the orgasmic Isaiah Cassidy." Like,
God, hey, what do they call him, brother?
If Tony Khan didn't like it wouldn't be continuing.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's one of the things. Like, Tony Khan's. Tony Khan said before about like how he doesn't like some of Matt Hardy's ideas, like the teleporting thing during COVID. But there's some things that he just let him do, and I feel like this is one of them.
You don't think this came from Isaiah Cassidy?
This came from him, but then I feel like Matt Hardy actually likes it too.
Like, did you ever see the video of like him backstage and he moans in Jeff's ear, and Jeff's just like,
yeah, Jeff probably came back and he was like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Yeah, like this was like right when Jeff came back, and he walks up to Jeff, like Isaiah Cassidy's leaving the locker room. He's like, and then walks away, and Jeff's like, "It sucks."
Yeah.
Hate it.
That's so bad.
I hate that we're ending on that.
That's how.
Did you say that the part about the guns?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
about everything that they want, and with the contract match, yeah. I hate that we're ending on Isaiah Cassidy's moans, but it's the way she goes. Rampage came on Saturday this week.
The next pay-per-view. So
the next pay-per-view for all wrestling is Double or Nothing, I believe.
Okay. Double or Nothing is on the 28th
of May.
Yeah.
So we got Double or Nothing, and then I believe we have Night of Champions. So Double or Nothing is May 28th. Okay, that's going to be a big episode. Night of Champions is a Saturday, May 27th. Double or Nothing is Sunday, May 28th.
Is it really?
So that'll be a big episode, yeah. Forbidden Door, we looked up. Forbidden Door's in June.
Like June 23rd or something.
June 25th is the end of June.
25th.
So at the end of this month, in 2 weeks, we'll have a big episode.
Yeah. Wow.
So 2 episodes from now, we'll be talking about 2 pay-per-views. That'll be it'll be a long one, boys. So look forward to that, everyone.
I'm looking forward to it. Maybe we can do some sort of live stream.
You want to take us out of here?
Yeah, I could do that.
We'll have to go out to dinner again.
Well, we're supposed to.
Night of Champions will probably
We only took
take
one
place during the day.
We took off one time and then we stopped doing it. We got to go back to Kevlar. We got.
Well, I didn't even watch Backlash with you, Tim. I didn't even watch Backlash with Tim this time.
Speaking of which, our classic show of the week. So, I don't know, because of Backlash and stuff, and I actually watched our classic show of the week last week, Backlash 2002. So then, at least what it does on my Peacock was, like, I'll watch it going to bed, and then it'll just play the next one, so it'll be Backlash 2003. So that's actually my next pick, because I watched it, and I really actually like the pay-per-view. That main event
is that Cena versus Brock?
No, this is The Rock versus Goldberg.
I'm thinking the Backlash after.
Oh, and then you know what it is? And it is Cena versus Brock, too.
Okay. Yeah, you get Chain Gang John Cena versus freaking awesome Brock. Brock that can actually go.
Chain Gang John Cena. Oh my god.
6-man tag, Ric Flair, Chris Jericho, and Triple H against Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash, and Booker T. Rey Mysterio versus Big Show after their big stretcher match feud. And then a great match to open up the show. Team Angle and versus Los Guerreros. So that's a banger.
Oh, I bet that match was awesome. Yeah, that Kevin Nash match leads into the Hell in a Cell with Triple H at the next pay-per-view. Because this is when they had a few combined pay-per-views, and then each show had their own pay-per-views.
Which I think was Bad Blood.
Yeah. No, you're right.
The old.
They did Hell in a Cells at Bad Blood for a while.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that wraps it up. Thank you all so much for joining us. I know this was kind of a quicker episode, but it just wasn't that crazy of a week, but there was some good stuff. Episode 84 next week. I can't believe we're cruising along to 100, boys. What do you think? What should we do for episode 100? I definitely want to get Jeremy's shirt put up soon.
Yeah.
For the people at home.
We can do one all together, like in the studio.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be great to all sit together and hang out. Maybe have a couple guests on. Maybe we could have Mr. Bro Keller come back and hang out. Yeah, we'll get some stuff planned.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Figure something, throw out some ideas and see what sticks.
I hope if you're listening in the beginning of the week, I hope you have a great week, or whenever you're listening to it, I hope you have a great day. We will talk to you next week for all things pro wrestling. Don't forget to do your homework. Backlash 2003. All right, guys. Have a good one.